All right, what's up, guys? So I'm here to talk about wet dreams today and why I think they're a good and bad thing. So I'm gonna start with the good reasons for wet dreams, and that starts with like the fact that you've been putting in work and you've been holding in your seed, you've been building that energy, and you've been really putting in that work. So your body, naturally you got to move that energy around. You got to start to move that energy around, and it's just your body, telling you, hey man, we got a lot of shit going on here. We got to release somehow. You got to release somewhere. And only 12-year-olds have wet dreams. Think about like some people, like I never even really had one in my life. Maybe one before when I was like 12. I've had 3 since I've been on semen retention. 2 of them have been like mini ones, because after a while, when you start to be able to discipline yourself more, you can kind of start to control. You start to feel that feeling in your dream, like it's like a trigger alarm. I wake up right away, and still a little bit came out, but not enough to even consider a release. So that's another thing. Discipline of the mind makes it easier, and I'm gonna go into why I think they're kind of bad in a sense, because it just shows kind of a lack of self-discipline. It shows that your mind's still saturated with sex. You still got sex on the mind, sex on the brain, and you can have mental sex without having physical, and it can still affect you physically, because thoughts affect your physical. Every thought has a trigger. Sends something to your body, and your body reacts to it. So you have to be careful of if you're on Instagram, don't be filling your entire feed up with just ass and sex and shit that's just gonna tempt you. It's just gonna go in the back of your brain. It's gonna go sit in your subconscious to while you're sleeping, and all of a sudden that girl you were looking at earlier pops up in your dream, and then you're having a wet dream, and then your energy is being stolen by some sort of entity that's pretending to be this girl that you saw. And that's if you believe spirituality. I watch Gabe Got That Glow. If you're into the spiritual side of it, go check him out. I get a lot of knowledge from him. And the false entity, also a great one. But what I'm just trying to say is, like, when you meditate and you stretch and you do chi practices, you move your energy around, there's nothing that can really affect you. You can't really be touched at that point. Send affirmations to the universe. God, tell him that, hey, protect me. Keep my innocence pure. Keep the succubuses away from me. And naturally, they won't come fuck with you. The only time I have them is usually if I've smoked too much weed before I went to bed, or if I didn't meditate, or if I hung out with a girl, like a friend or something. We hung out for a while, and then it's just like being around a female for a while. Your body just kind of like, if you haven't had sex in a while, it's just kind of like, hey, let's do that. But it's like, no, you just gotta control that. That's the whole thing. I was like, you gonna let your sex run you, or you gonna run it? You're gonna tell yourself when I want to have sex, or is your body gonna tell you when you're having sex? That's the whole thing is about. It's not to never have sex again, and never to indulge in any sort of pleasure. It's just to control it. Be in control of it. Don't let it run your life, because simple pleasures will run you into the ground. And that's the whole point of just discipline, building discipline. That's why when you build the mental discipline, the mind discipline, it makes them go away almost completely. Or you'll catch them, like I was saying, you'll wake up and I'll be able to catch it right when it's happening, so it's not that bad. And I won't just sit there and just let it happen, because it does feel like it's weird, you'll be sitting there, like it's like 2 seconds. Next thing you know, you're like having sex, and then you're coming. And it's like almost feels like you're peeing. And then, it's really random. It's not even like, I feel like I lose energy. That's the only thing I do still feel like I lose energy. So I feel like it's bad, is I wake up and it's harder to get in a deeper meditation, feel a little bit more anxious, I'm a little bit more worried, and like I feel like I'm wanting like more. I want to smoke weed more that day. I want to like eat more food that day, or I want to eat different food that day. I want to eat stuff that's pleasurable, because now your body's thinking in simple pleasures, because you just released. And so it's trying to make yourself feel better too, because when you release, you have the down. It's not that feeling in your dream. You're still feeling that orgasm while you're sleeping. So you got to have the opposite effect, and so you'll start to feel down, which will make you naturally crave stuff that's not bad for you. When you're not feeling like yourself, and you don't have that sense of well-being, you start craving stuff that's outside of you. And that's why it's all comes down to discipline. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to be different? Because 99%, aren't doing this. There's like a bunch of people they can't even fathom this shit. You talk about this with people, they think you're fucking crazy. They're like, you don't come? What's wrong with you? Buddy, what's wrong with you? You guys are just saturated with sex, but some people can't fathom it. That's why it's like, I don't even talk to spirituality, but with some people, they can't understand it. People don't get it, It's just going to wear your energy out trying to explain it to them. So anyway, back to the point of, I think wet dreams are good and bad. You don't want to have too many of them, though. If you're having too many of them, you're going to want to sit down and kind of have a talk with yourself, kind of like bring some reality to the surface and say, hey, I'm not, you know, on top of things as I thought I was. I need to start, you know, taking things out of your life that give you so much temptation that you can't control simple urges. You know what I'm saying? It took me a while to get here. I've only been a month and a half, almost 2 months, but I've had 3 wet dreams. So they're gonna happen. Sometimes they just happen, you know? So, you know, like they said, you have prostate fluid that builds up and gets toxic. You know, you can look at it that way too. But sometimes if you release, you know, if you're releasing too much, I feel like, you know, there's a reason that's happening. So it's not always just because your prostate fluid needs to empty out. So anyway, tell me what you guys think. I'm just going off of my own experiences and, you know, watching some them goats on YouTube. Them dudes that are really, you know, they've been doing it for a year. They've been doing it for a couple years. You know, they're killing the game. They're killing it. I really like, nothing can beat the sense of well-being, the happiness, the confidence you feel from semen retention. So obviously, you know, it's not a bad thing. You know, you just got to keep going. This world is all just freaking here to test you. It's testing your willpower. There's temptation all around you at all times. And the fact that you're not giving into it, badass. Keep doing you. Namaste.